My neighbor was fined for fixing the neighborhood potholes himself, so I helped him pave a legal trap that cost the city thousands. My neighbor, Mr. Miller, is the kind of man who believes if you want something done right, you don't wait for a committee. On the surface, he's just a retired construction worker who spends too much time staring at the street. Yet for the last 6 months, our road has looked like a lunar landscape because the city claimed they didn't have the budget for basic repairs. I've spent 3 years dodging a massive axle-breaking crater right in front of my driveway. Then again, the local councilman, Steve, decided that the real priority was a new decorative fountain for the town square. Every time we complained about the potholes, Steve would laugh and tell us to be patient while he posed for photos at ribbon-cutting ceremonies. When Mr. Miller finally got tired of his daughter's car getting a flat tire every week, he didn't just write another letter. He went to the hardware store, bought 5 bags of cold patch asphalt, and filled the holes himself. Regardless, he didn't do it for the thanks. He just wanted to get to the grocery store without losing a hubcap. I realized then that if the city found out, they wouldn't thank him. They'd find a way to punish him. Instead of keeping a lookout, I started documenting the repairs. I didn't just take photos of the filled holes. Yet I did spend the afternoon at the city's public records office looking at the original 1950s infrastructure maps. I've been the one who actually understands how local liability works. Little did Steve know, the city had a maintenance responsibility clause that they had been ignoring for a decade. While Mr. Miller was out there with a shovel, Steve was sending a code enforcement officer to slap him with a $3,000 fine for unauthorized tampering with a public roadway. Fast forward to Tuesday morning. Steve showed up with a news crew to shame the rogue vigilante who was endangering the public with his DIY repairs. Suddenly, as Steve started his speech about law and order, I walked out with a stack of legal folders. That's when things got interesting. I didn't just defend Mr. Miller's work. Instead, I pointed out that by fining him for tampering with the road, the city had officially acknowledged that they were aware of the road's dangerous condition. Under state law, once the city notices a defect, they have 48 hours to make it safe, or they become liable for every single penny of damage caused by it. However, that wasn't even the best part. Because the city had rejected Mr. Miller's repair by fining him, they were legally required to dig up his asphalt and replace it with certified city materials immediately. Suddenly, the cost of the repair went from $50 in gravel to a $50,000 emergency paving contract. That's when I hit the final blow. I pulled out a list of 42 neighbors who had kept their receipts for blown tires and broken suspensions over the last year. Since the city had just admitted on camera that they owned the neglect, I handed Steve a collective letter of intent to sue for the total damages, which came out to nearly $80,000. Mind you, Steve's face went from smug to ghostly white as the news cameras caught every word. The best part, the city had to drop Mr. Miller's fine just to get us to stop the lawsuit. They spent the next week repaving our entire street from scratch to avoid the massive payout. I looked at Steve while the steamrollers were working and said, "You said we needed to be patient. I guess 50 bags of asphalt and a lawyer are faster." He tried to claim he found the budget after all, but unfortunately for him, the voters saw the whole thing live. My phone has been ringing with people from the next town over asking for my pothole defense strategy, but I told them that if you want a smooth ride, you have to be ready to get a little dirty. No fine, no craters.